try as much as we can try as much as we can to address issues revolve around the question of research question and I mean research problem. And I told you that research problem is different from substantive problem that we have. People most of the times tend to uh, actually whenever you ask them about the problem of their research, they tend to give you the substantive problem. And actually that is not the case. Research problem is different from substantive problem. For example, if you talk about the issue of maybe impact of kidnapping of human security, or maybe the problem of kidnapping in Nigeria and its impact in economic security and so on and so forth. Many people will be trying to see how they can bring out the problems associated with kidnapping in terms of loss of lives, in terms of loss of properties, and so on. But that is not actually, those ones actually are problems that are known to everybody. Of course, we receive information about the issue of kidnapping on the media, even from the security agencies. But the fact is that in research, that is not what we are looking at. We are looking at what somebody can do that is completely different from other things that are already existing. What can you do that is new? Am I communicating? What can you do that is new? What can I do to ensure that I contribute to the existing knowledge? That is what is all about your engagement in trying to come up with a research problem. Am I communicating? And I think we went for that to also talk about the nature of research problem. The nature of research problem has to do with unsatisfactory state of affairs. Sometimes there are things that are happening. Are we together? There are things that are happening that you are not satisfied with them. You are not comfortable with them. You are not comfortable with them. And you feel there's a need for us to come to terms with why these things are happening this way. Am I communicating? You know it, but you are not very much in tune or at home with what actually are the major drivers or major forces behind the reality on ground. Then secondly, we have it's also to answer the unanswered questions. And in this regards, it attempts to provide information, to provide detailed knowledge, to unveil the reality behind certain phenomena that has been addressed before, and yet this phenomenon continue to persist. We have situations like that where issues or social reality or certain realities in our society are there affecting the continuity of the system. A number of people or researchers here and there about it, and even make some recommendation. But even at that, the problem still persists. So because of that, you should also try to see why is the problem persisting. Am I communicating? Another issue on research problem has to do with the missing links. Of course, like I told you initially, a problem has to do with what has not been done. People did this, people did that, people did this, Mr. A did on that particular issue. But what is that all of them couldn't address? And therefore, out of all these things that have not been addressed by the previous study, I intend to look at issue A, B, C. Then the remaining ones will be addressed by other researchers, because you cannot exhaustively address all issues surrounding a given phenomenon at a particular point in time. You can do your own and allow others coming behind you to take care of the other issues. I hope we are together. Then the unsatisfied needs. Unsatisfied needs here has to do with maybe there are certain things that people, in every human society, there are certain things that people need. And it's likely they are being provided to them, but they are not satisfied with it. And they will try to find out, why is it that this thing is happening, but yet we are having this problem? It has every connection with the second one, who does do with the unanswered questions. Then another issue in the nature of research problem is the imbalance. So you will now is try to balance it. For example, I remember in our last class I made reference to the issue of domestic violence. You will see most of the study on domestic violence always try to be one-sided. They are always looking at it from the point of view of violence between from the male to the female. They always see it as a phenomenon that is only affecting the female folk. But that is not the case. We have so many cases nowadays where you find also violence against men in their houses. The men are, by our tradition, by our culture, men are supposed to be the heads of their household. But you can find a particular household where the woman dictates. The woman controls the affairs of the entire household. The woman dictates for the person. The woman tells the person what he should do and what he should not do, and tells the person I'm trying to explain to you. That man, only whenever he's going at this, the woman, his wife will give him the time he should come back. Unfortunately for him, one day he left. When he was coming back, and it was already against him. So he entered the parlor and he was sneaking. I think I don't know whether I shared the thing with you. He was trying to sneak. She told him, "Come here. Where are you go? Where do you think you're going?" You can imagine this. That is an example of domestic violence. You understand? So you can also have a violence against men. You understand? So instead of saying domestic violence against women, it's better if you look at it as a domestic violence against married couples. Couples here entails both male and female couples. I think I have told you about the sources of of research problem. We talk about the literature. We talk about the theory. We talk about the personal experience. We talk about the reports of previous findings. You understand? Reports of previous findings can serve as literature, but they are different from the extant literature. The extant literature cover the documents, the documented evidence that are not empirical studies. But the report of previous study here is physically concerned about empirical studies. These are studies that are they are documents that are already made, that are actually qualified out of an engagement of a researcher with a particular category of people in the society. It is an output, it's a product of an empirical study, where first-hand information were collected from the target audience and were analyzed on the basis of their responses, and the conclusion was drawn based on that, and recommendations were actually advanced on the basis of the findings of the study. That is the previous study that we're talking about. I think we have not talked about the qualities of a good research problem, which is one of the topic I think we should start with today. A good research problem should be, number one of the qualities of research problem is what? Number one is researchable. A good research problem should be researchable. Don't go and bring an issue that is not possible for you to elicit information, because there are some areas of research that you will choose, but it won't be feasible for you. It will not be possible for you to be able to elicit the information from the people. For example, we are human beings. We have feelings, we have emotions, and we are capable of changing our behaviors. If, for instance, someone is coming to conduct a research in a class, for example, and the people are known that, yes, this is why we're here, and they were told that the person is coming to find out from the class who is the most committed person, who is the most obedient student in the class. I want to tell you that even the most notorious person in the class may turn to be the most obedient, because they know that somebody is coming to study them. So it is always very important to look at issues. Or for example, you want to do an assessment of the performance of the police force in managing internal crisis or managing conflict in a given environment. Assessment of the performance of Nigerian police force. Then you say that, okay, the target population now is going to be the police. How can you ask police to assess themselves? You'll never get the objective information. If you ask me to assess myself, of course I like myself, and of course I will make sure that whatever I'm going to give, it will be something that will favor my integrity. It will be something that will also favor my status. It will uplift my status. I don't know what I'm communicating. So if you are choosing a research topic, one of the parties that you have to make sure that the topic and the problem, they are researchable. Researchable here has to do with the ability of that research to elicit some relevant information that will help in trying to understand the nature, the content, and the character of the phenomenon, with the aim of providing solution to the phenomenon. That is the essence. Because if you can't find that, then there will be a problem. Let me share this experience with you. When I was doing my undergraduate project, I took a topic that is related to, that has to do with juvenile delinquency. And my supervisor then in ABU's area referred me to juvenile postal institution. They call it postal institution, which is juvenile home. It's a place where underage inmates are being rehabilitated. It's in Kaduna. So I went there. When I went there and tried to get some vital information, statistics that will help me in my undergraduate research, they say honestly their own information are classified. They are confidential. They can't give me out. So when I went back to my supervisor and reported to him, he said, "See, as far as I'm concerned, as far as this work is concerned, you need those information. If you can't get those information, it's better you change the topic." And that is how I changed my topic. So you can see what we're talking about. So ensure that a problem is something that is researchable. It's something that is possible for you to go out there, get the relevant information from the people, from the target audience. The people who have the information, you should be able to access them without any intimidation and so on and so forth. Another quality of a good research problem is significant. Of course, when you're doing your research, when you are going to make a submission, we'll say that you have to make sure that tell us about the significance of your research. Significance is in two phases. Significance of a research is in two phases. Majorly, we have theoretical significance and we have practical significance. The theoretical significance has to do with the value addition to knowledge. Value addition to knowledge. It has to do with the contribution of your work to the stock of knowledge. The contribution of your work to the existing knowledge about that subject matter. Of course, your work can serve as a point of reference. Can serve as a point of reference to other people that are coming to do a research in that area. I hope I'm communicating.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are getting
Yes,
you clear, sir.
so it can serve as a point of reference to other researchers on the issue. Am I communicating?
Thank you, sir.
Students who are also undergoing certain programs can also use your own material as a document they can read to understand the subject matter and help them in writing their examination and passing their examinations. So that is the part of theoretical significance. So your own document, your own research report can serve as a source of information to people who are coming behind to look at the phenomenon and understand the phenomenon. And not only to understand the phenomenon, and to be able to use that to address their own existing problem as at the time they are facing the problem. And it will serve as a springboard for further researches. Yes, somebody who is doing a research in that area, in an attempt to understand the gap, in an attempt to understand the areas that previous studies covered, they have to look at your work. When they look at your work, they will be able to know exactly those areas that you have not been able to cover. It's by looking at that. So once they know that you have covered area A, B, and we also have area C, D, and E. Therefore, since you have not covered, let me see how I can go and cover area C and D. But if they don't read your work, they will not be able to establish that. It's not possible for them to establish that. Am I communicating? So that is very, very fundamental. So And the practical significance here has to do with the contribution of your research, the research report, the outcome of your research to policy makers. Of what relevance it is to the people who are formulating policies on how to come to terms with that particular problem, on how to manage the problem, on how to address the problem. Of what contribution is your work? That is the practical significance. Am I communicating? So the next thing about research problem has to do with that. The next quality is novel. Research problem should be novel. It should be novel. It should be something new. It should be something new. Don't go and repeat the same thing I did. And I shouldn't do exactly what you did. If I'm doing a research on a topic related to what you did, then I should be doing something different about that topic. Something new. It is on that basis that you, at the end of the day, come and say, okay, this is my contribution to knowledge. Are we together? So it has to be novel. It has to be something new. Then lastly, under the qualities of a good research problem is to be concerned with the researcher's competence, researcher's interest, and the circumstance. Don't go and pick a topic that is above your capacity. Everybody here knows his or her capacity. I know what I can do. You know what you can do. You know what you cannot do. Everybody here has his or her own area of interest. So ensure that the topic you are selecting, the topic you are choosing, the problem you are choosing is the area of your interest. That is why at PhD, in fact, at postgraduate level, the research is for you. The supervisors are only meant to guide you. So you need to know that. It's important for you to know that. And this area of the interest is something that has actually developed based on the circumstances surrounding you. It has been informed by your experiences. It has been informed by the conditions of your living. It has been informed by the issues around you, and you feel it is important for you, at least in pursuit of certain things. It's important for you to be able to see for yourself what really is this problem. What are the drivers of this problem? And based on that, if we're able to establish that it is variable A, B, C, based on the responses or data I have generated that leads to create this problem. Therefore, this is how we can go about addressing the problem. That is what it means. So it has to be consistent with your own experience. You don't need to impose a research topic on the student. No. As a supervisor, what I usually do is to say, okay, tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. It is on that basis I say, okay, go this way. I want to know where you are going to. Just as saying, meeting somebody on the road, maybe you want to go to, you are coming from Abuja, you want to go to Latvia. When you read the flyover, I don't know where you are going. You meet me at the flyover and say, please, I am going to Latvia. Because when you get to flyover, you have different diversions, one to the right, one to the left, one you go straight. So you don't know which one will take you to Latvia. So you ask question. My own there is to say, okay, if you want to go to Latvia, follow this road. If you say you are going to Makodi, I will say, if you want to go to Makodi, this road can lead you to Makodi, but it is, if you want to be faster, follow this road that that leads to Nasarawa. From Nasarawa, you follow the road that will take you to this town in Benue State. It's faster, and so on and so forth. So supervisors are meant to guide you. The research is yours. I hope you know that. So the research problem is something that is very, very important for you to know or understand. It's on that basis you come up with your research questions. It's on that basis you come up with your research objectives. Am I communicating? So the moment you miss the research problem, you miss everything in your work, because you derive your research questions from the research problem, and you derive your research objective from your research questions. So all of them are being derived from the research problem. And every other thing you will do after that point in the course of your research must reflect research problem, research question, and research objectives. Don't do anything outside what you have set out to achieve in chapter 1. You are the one that say, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve this. Objective one is this, objective two is this, objective three is this. Then, if you are moving forward, you should be seen presenting issues that revolve around those objectives you have set it in chapter one. Because if you get to an external examination, in fact, somebody who is an external examiner can simply ask you this question. Okay, my brother, you did a research. Go. Yes. Can you tell me about your problem? Maybe you have successfully taken other problem. Okay. Can you mention your objectives for me? Tell me your objective one. When you mention it, you can say, okay, can you take me to where you have achieved this objective one in your work? If you do that, you can ask you mention objective. If you mention it, he can still ask you, go to chapter 4 and tell me and show me where you achieved objective. So the moment it is established that you have not been able to achieve one objective, it means you have not finished your research. You must account for all the things you said you would do at the level of proposal. Now you are finished, you must account for them. You must account for them. It's necessary. I hope we're together. Please let me entertain questions from you before I move forward to the next topic. I'm listening. Questions?
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. Question, please.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to find out if the police cannot assess themselves, can't other measures be devised, to assess the police? If you still want to do that, if you want to really do that research.
Can you please come again?
I said there was an instance that was given during the lecture, sir, that if you have a research problem about assessing the police force, and you are asking the police force to assess itself, you said the police cannot assess itself.
Yes.
I said, can we devise measures to overcome that challenge?
Okay, let me give you a simple clue.
Okay, sir.
Maybe there was a crisis in National State University.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And it was reported to the DPO, and the DPO sent his staff to come and manage the crisis. Maybe in the course of doing that, other problems came up.
Yes,
and after the crisis, we said, okay, let's find out. Let us assess their performance in managing that crisis. Who are the best people to assess them? They shouldn't be the one to be asked the question. They should be the people in the university. I don't know I'm communicating.
Yes, sir.
It should be the people that should assess them. For example, if you want to assess your lecturers who are teaching the students, you should assess them from the point of view of their students.
Yes, sir.
Am I communicating? You shouldn't ask me to assess myself. Okay, how can you rate yourself in terms of your performance? That is wrong. You ask the students. It's just like what we have in sociology. There's this social psychological theory of Charles Horton Cooley. They call it the looking glass self. The theory tries to provide an explanation of how the personality of a person is developed. And the argument of the scholar is that your personality is a reflection of how the people define you, but not how you define yourself. And he gave an example of a mirror. You wake up in the morning, you took your bath, dress up, but before you leave your room, you look into the mirror to check whether you are looking good. Am I correct?
You are correct, sir.
We always do that. So he said that image you are seeing tells you who you are. It tells you who you are. If really you don't need anything, it means you should stand alone and say you are who you are now. You won't get the information. So that's that true, thing sir. You are seeing, the mirror, the image you are seeing tells you who you are. That it is the same thing in the case of society. If you want to know who you are, step out of the society, throw the question to the people. The people around you should tell you who you are.
Okay.
So you shouldn't ask the police to assess themselves. If you
Yes, sir.
want to find out the security, the as performance of the police force in managing security crisis or security management in FCT, for instance, ask the members of the public in FCT to tell you, not the police to tell you about the performance, their own performance. Am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
That is the angle I'm coming from.
Okay, sir.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other question? Any other question?
Hello, sir.
Hello, Prof.
Hello, I'm with you.
Yes, Prof. Let me say that, at times, yes, we have concerns. What I mean concerns, I should say, that our research problems should be around our area of interest, some concern that we have. When we have this concern, is there going to be any guidance to direct us to formulate it to be a question? You might have a concern. For instance, I have a concern on the incessant dispute, labor dispute in the country from when I was maybe in nursery school until now. There's always labor and government having issues, and it borders on the income and welfare of the people as income that is not meeting the needs of the people. But then the people in government don't have those issues because their own income is more. And each time they come out and say, okay, I've negotiated, labor is happy. But after some years, they pay contract. So I'm concerned with that. How can the negotiation be put to rest so there will be no need for negotiation? So if the people are feeling pain, and the gains that the people in government are also feeling pain, the people in government are comfortable, that means the people down here are also comfortable. So that's my concern. Because over the years, the negotiations have not stopped the need for further negotiation. How can that be achieved? That's my concern. Okay, and I want to study that. I want to look at.
You are talking about the incessant labor crisis. Am I right?
Yes.
In terms of what? Strike.
The people in government are comfortable. The people down the line are not, because wage structure is not. The wage for the people is not okay, because the government is okay for them. So the negotiations not always solve it. The negotiation fine, but after 2 years, 3 years, the gap is still there. Why?
Yes.
How can
You can do that. You can do that. You can do that. You can do that. Actually, you can have a topic that says assessment of the incessant industrial conflict.
Yes,
industrial conflict. Use the word. I think industrial conflict is also a better word. Industrial conflict in Nigeria, and you can make reference to different labor organizations. All these organizations, they have their local chapter, they have their national body. So you can make reference to that.
Yes.
And in doing that kind of research, you have to hear from the point of view of the labor unions, and also from the point of view of the stakeholders in government that have direct link, that manage the affairs of the labor operations in Nigeria. Am I communicating? These are part of the guidance and the supervision that you will get from the supervisor. Am I communicating? It's part of the guidance that you can get from the supervisor. Who is that?
Then we look at the issue. We have somebody like Oshomole was once on the side of the labor union, but today his language is different. Now he's on the side of the government.
Yes. Sorry, I'm in a virtual meeting. Come here. I'm in a meeting. Hello, I can hear you. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Because you said that I have to hear from the labor unions, yes, and also to make it balanced, I also have to hear from those in government.
Exactly.
Yes, I said an interesting one will be to talk to somebody like Oshomole, who participated actively on the first side, the first divide, like labor union, and then his language and approach was different. Now he is now in government.
As at the
Yes.
time you are doing the research, is Osemole a stakeholder from the two sides?
I would say he
He
has
is not.
experience on both sides. Okay. Okay. Like now he is on one side,
Is
yes.
he from the is he from the Labour side? No. Is he
Definitely no now.
Minister of Labour? No. So he's not part of your research. It's not
Oh,
relevant to your
okay.
research. That's the truth.
Okay.
You understand my point?
Okay.
It's not relevant to your research. You know, let me tell you something. In research, you have to do away with a stereotype, with a preconceived. From what you are saying, I'm seeing a stereotype. I've seen a bias, which is not good because you have defined Osemole as somebody who is here and is now there. He was there yesterday and now he's not here. You know, already you are taking a position about him. So in research, you should do away with all your sentiments. Allow the outcome
Okay.
of your research to decide for you as to what you should do. Am I communicating? So you don't have any business
Very well.
because as far as you're concerned, your research is concerned at the moment, yes, it's not relevant to your work.
Yes. Okay. You
Is
be
that
an
is
unbiased
that
umpire.
exactly? Exactly. You
Thank
know,
you, sir.
if the moment you start making presentation about your own research report, if you are biased, I will know. You understand? So always allow your information, your data to guide your judgment about the given research. Do you understand my point?
Yes, very well, sir.
I'm emphasizing on this because this has been the problem with our students in trying to come up with a research problem. I hope you are getting the point. So only make sure that the people that you are engaging are part of your research. They are relevant to you. They are relevant. You are talking about labor operations and somebody is no more operating among the labor unions. You are saying no. You don't know what happened. It's likely the structure and the approach has changed after he left. You understand? So if you try to bring him, he may give you contradictory information. We are living in a dynamic world. Like the popular saying that the only thing that the constant in our life is what? Is change. So it's likely after he has left for government, for maybe minister, now senator, things have changed. You don't know. So if you ask him, he will give you different information from what is existing at the moment. So that is very, very important. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Good
Any
morning,
other
sir.
question before I want to know how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Question will this your question will hello, we'll finish our time. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. My name is Dr. Sige Olokun. So, from what you just
Doctors
said,
who?
Dr. Sige Olokun.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mm.
Okay, my question is still around what you just explained. You said, as a researcher, you have to have an unbiased view or
Yes.
mindset. So I'm thinking that if we have a problem, since a research question is supposed to come from a problem, from that problem, should there not have been some sort of a preconceived notion from the problem? Are you saying that even if one had a preconceived notion of the problem, one should sort of train their mind to assume a neutral position before commencing that work, or it should just be a situation where you don't have any preconceived notion of the problem ab initio? That's what I want to ask.
No. You can have your preconceived notion, but you cannot use it in the research because in the research you are going to hear from the point of view of the people, the subject of the research, and your conclusion is about them. Your report is about them. So hear from their own point of view. For example, you want to do a research. You are not a student, you are not put in National University. You want to find out from the point of view of the perception of the undergraduate students about the attitudes of their lecturers. Am I communicating? Maybe
Yes, sir.
you think that lecturer used to do this, used to do that, used to do this. I know if I force you to talk about the actual lecturer taught today in Nigerian university, now you have you have information for me. Am I correct? I know you can
That's
say
it.
a number of you can raise a number of issues, but in Nasarawa State University, the situation may be different from the way you are looking at it, and that is why before you start, those your information about lecturers' attitude to students should be removed and kept somewhere. Allow the outcome of your research in Nasarawa University to tell you what exactly is the nature of engagement relationship between the lecturers and the students in Nasarawa University. Am I communicating? Because the environment also matters. The same situation, if studied in variable A and B, we may have different results because the environment matters. I forgot to charge this system. My system is going down, and I didn't come with a charger. Let me quickly run because I forgot to charge my system and it's going down, and I don't have the charger. So I hope you are with me, Dorcas.
Yes, sir, I am, sir. And I understand.
That is it. That is it.
So it is safe to say one should just keep an open mind before commencing.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You should be an impartial editor. You should be like a judge. Even though some people nowadays say that our judges are partial. They are partial.
So a quick observation.
Some say that they are corrupt.
Good morning, Prof.
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Are you?
Who is speaking, please?
My name is Engineer Noel.
Engineer Noel.
Yes, sir. Noel.
Okay.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. The example you gave on domestic violence. I have a couple of friends, of course, that have had these experiences on both sides. And in an attempt to shape that topic, I remember you said something about it's better approach like maybe domestic violence against married couples. But my opinion is that I believe it is more of an internal thing. Don't you think the approach of the researcher could better be should be, domestic violence among married couples rather than being against married couples?
I didn't say against you. I said among married couples. I didn't say against married couples.
I'm sorry if I didn't hear you.
I didn't say against.
That's all right.
I made reference to the one that said relative violence against women.
Yes.
And I said instead of saying against women, we also have case of the violence against men. So it's better I use the words against married couples. And if we use the word married couples, it covers the two of them.
It's all right. I understand now, sir. Thank you.
Any other question? Hello? I have my battery is just 2% now.
One question, sir. Just one question, sir. Just one question, sir.
All right, quickly do that.
So you can go off and give us time to come back again because we still have time, sir.
Remember the days we were young, wild and free, basic getting